Whew. Guys, I've already went into this before, and I'll go into it again. But I'm not going to go into so many details because some stuff just ain't your business. But I'll go into a little bit of our finances, right? How we got here. You wouldn't believe how many people want to just like butt into your life because, you know, I'm a stay-home dad. You know, my wife goes and works. Was that always the case? No, it wasn't always the case. For the most of our marriage, you know, I was the breadwinner, and I worked my butt off. And she worked a little bit too, but she had no experience, so she wasn't making near the money that I was working in sales. And you know what I did with the money that I was making? I saved it, and then I paid off debt. I paid off all the debt that I possibly could so that I could experience what's called financial freedom. Was I rich? Was I making like six-figure incomes? No. But the truth is, when you don't owe a bunch of people a whole bunch of money, you don't have to have all that income to feel like you are wealthy. That's the real trick to life, guys. Think about it. Ugh. And then when you learn to like not spend your money on stupid stuff and like get into debt paying for cars that you really can't afford and you really don't need to be getting into, you realize that like just holding on to the cash was the best thing that you could have done, you know? Or maybe invested in a better asset like a house or something like that. Like it's just, you know, people are silly. You get tricked into that kind of stuff because the TV tells you that, or your dumb folks tell you that because they got tricked. So they're just tricking you. Everybody tricking each other blindly. The blind following the blind. You know. So yeah, eventually, my wife started getting, you know, better jobs, right? And eventually she surpassed my income. And when that came out, we decided, instead of sending our boy to public school where they would rot his brain, I'd stay home and teach him. He'd stay home with daddy and get proper care. You wouldn't believe how much it infuriates people, and they just want to butt into your life and assume or try to paint me as some kind of a dealer or, you know, just all kind of things they'll say. Just because I have a swinging you know what and I'm at home. And that's wild. It's wild to me. Look, I'm all about equal rights and opportunity. For sure, you know? And I thought everyone else was too. I thought that's what we were all about. But only so far, right? The idea is that like a man's supposed to find a wife in college while she's got a bunch of college debt, and then what, he's got to work and pay off her debt and also pay for everything in the house. And I'm not trying to turn this into a gender against gender, but it's like, wow, what in the world? And that's because people are trying to dupe you into thinking a certain way because they had to do it that way. And times were different then. It was better for them in that way, but the times have changed. And she does a great job at what she does at her job. Excellent. You know, and I've even told her, and I told her boss, you know, especially when payments started coming in not as often as they should have. I said, look, man, you're going to have to start paying us on time or she's coming back home and I'm going back to work. Oh, he didn't want that, and she didn't want that either. So nobody's doing anything they don't want to do around here. And that's all I'm going to tell you on it. Yeah, I work too. I raised my son. He's healthy and smart. That's the biggest job I got. And then I create content. And yeah, sometimes I make some money doing it. But you know what? Like, I'm thinking about higher things than what the world wants you to think about. And the church wants you to think about. Y'all continue doing that worldly, churchly stuff and, you know, stay in the pit if you want. But there's better things out there. You just got to think outside the box that they got you in.